right, guys, we are back. And guess who's back? back again.
Did that last time.
I know. Why? I feel like we should just do this together all the time. It's like the best day ever. We're actually in Nashville. Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Party
you
on
brought us
Wayne.
down
We're
here.
for, the Stimulate Sexual Health and Wellness Conference. We're teaching a little class. We got some award stuff. We'll see what happens. And
it's Tennessee. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Come to Nashville and hang out.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to be doing some podcast stuff. And I think everybody wants you back on. Haileigh, they love you so much.
We've got a lot of questions from last time.
We got a lot of questions. We want to know all the tea. So today we have one topic, and it's probably going to be one of the most popular. Perimenopause.
Perimenopause. Cougar puberty.
Cougar puberty. So if you've been told that what you're experiencing is normal aging, they're freaking lying to you. Okay. That exhaustion is just, remember when I said that to you the first time? You're like, how are you functioning? I was like, I thought this was just 30. And she's like, no, it's not.
No.
The exhaustion, the anxiety, the stress, the brain fog.
Body changes.
All the things. Okay, so welcome to the Law of Chastity, where we talk intimacy, business, power, healing, and the conversations most people are too uncomfortable to have. I am Cassidy, the entrepreneur, wife, mom, and someone who has spent nearly 2 decades in the intimacy and wellness space. So if someone sent you this episode, you are in the right place. This one's for the vain ones. And if you have a woman in your life that is dealing with perimenopause, after you listen to this, you'll be like, oh yeah, she is. Or if you're a woman and you need to send this to your 5 best friends, they will thank you later. Age women are most surprised to learn they might be in perimenopause.
Oh, goodness. So, by the way, I'm Haileigh Mason.
I introduced you. People know you. This is Haileigh Mason. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. People know you. She's like, like guest appearances on TV shows, but then you turn into the guest appearance. It's like a regular guest appearance. They just know who you are, bitch. Go ahead.
For those, I stay humble, and I'm Haileigh Mason. I'm the owner of Mason Aesthetics and Wellness. I'm also Cassidy's best friend. I just wanted to do a quick little thing before we started. Cass, thanks for having us as usual. It's been so fun to be down here, and I'm so proud of you. And I'm excited to watch you this week. I can't wait to see you in your element. So we got a little taste of it last night. It was so much fun. So anyway, here we go. So perimenopause. So clinical perimenopause can start anytime after 35 years old in a woman's life. Usually before 35, it's actually not perimenopause. It's usually progesterone deficiency.
Okay.
So let's start there and talk about the 2 main hormones for females. Progesterone and estrogen. It's what dictates our cycle. It's what causes an ovulation or an egg release. Mm-hmm. They wax and wane throughout the whole month, and that's how our whole body processes. Okay, here's the egg. Oh, we didn't get it fertilized, and we have to slough it off, bleeding, all the things, right? So usually with progesterone and estrogen, progesterone fluctuates about 1 time a month. It's about ovulation. And then about 48 hours after ovulation, progesterone increases. Well, progesterone is what takes away, do you remember the 5 B's? Do you remember what they are?
Breast tenderness, bitchiness, bloating, brain fog, bleeding, and
breaking out.
Yes.
So estrogen and progesterone have to work together, because if estrogen is in abundance, then you are estrogen dominant and you'll have the 5 B's. So progesterone, so estrogen increases right around ovulation. It has to reach a crucial point in order to make that egg release. Mm-hmm. And then it starts to drop, and then progesterone increases, because progesterone is what the body needs to initiate and maintain a pregnancy. Okay. So that's why progesterone is usually the first hormone to go in our life.
Okay.
And that's where we start to, kind of feel a little different. A lot of people will say, oh, this is perimenopause. Not necessarily. It's usually the first symptoms, like extreme anxiety, painful periods, maybe 2 periods a month. Those types of things are actually from progesterone deficiency.
Okay.
So it's really not perimenopause yet, because we still have abundance in estrogen.
Okay. So you just supplement with progesterone.
Yes. So at that point in time, you would just supplement with progesterone, and then all of a sudden our night sweats are gone, our anxiety's better, our inflammation levels are down. And then what usually happens is we feel great for a couple years, and then all of a sudden that estrogen loss starts happening.
You lose your effing mind.
You lose your mind. Yes. So estrogen, again, in abundance without its progesterone, causes a lot of problems for us. But then when we start to lose estrogen, they cause a lot of the similar problems. So it's really hard to balance. So that's when I say perimenopause is no man's land. Like, it is literally no man's land. Like, whatever happens is normal. But the key there is to know what deficiency you're experiencing so you can manage it by yourself with help from a professional, obviously. Yeah. So I wanted to point out something very like, it's so big for women because they just feel so lost in this space because they're like, what's going on with my body? What hormone is missing? I know it's like a lot of them just come in and go, something's wrong. Like, I just feel different. I want you guys to know, like, I am the hormone specialist, the hormone queen, and I will still do something or feel something different in my body and something happens to me and I'm like, oh, well, my progesterone might be low, i.e. like I have had the worst month with my hormones because my hormones are fluctuating so much in perimenopause because when we start to lose that estrogen, our body, it doesn't want to give up. It wants to show up for us, right? Like, it wants to continue its natural cycle. So then all of a sudden our estrogen starts to drop and the body, like, red flag, sends out these chemical messengers and it's like, crap. And so then the body re-corrects and too much. So then it full sends it through the roof. And then it drops again. And then it full sends it through the roof. So instead of like a rolling hill, like on a chart to look at your hormones, it looks like the Tetons on there. It's like, all over the place. So every time our estrogen increases or drops, then we can have symptoms of anxiety, difficulty sleeping. We can have symptoms of literally brain fog and losing your mind.
Mid-sentence. Literally mid-sentence. Like, I remember when it happened to me, I like called Haileigh. I was like, something is seriously wrong. Like, I literally would be mid-sentence. And I'm a pretty sharp, quick thinker, onto the next, multitasker. And I would be like, like there was just nothing. And I'm like, this is scary.
Like recall, like words, like, normal people will be like, oh yeah, I walk into the kitchen, I forgot what I was there for. Yeah, I get that. It's because you're ADHD and you forget what you're doing. But really, no, it's about when we start to lose our estrogen, we will lose our train of thought. So a lot of people will say, oh, I just recently got diagnosed with ADHD later on in life. And I'm like, ooh, that's a red flag for me. Because I'm like, no, we need to look at your estrogen because estrogen is what keeps our brain healthy, right? And so most women, again, when they start feeling different, it's first things first is progesterone loss, especially after we're done having kids. If we don't have kids within 2 years after our last baby, progesterone's like, oh, I guess she's done with me, and so progesterone starts to decline. So that's one of the biggest deficiencies that I see first is that loss of progesterone. And that's why we literally feel anxious and our periods are awful and we've got all the 5 B's, right? And so then you put progesterone in and everything's great. And then this is what I was saying is they'll come in and be like, I want to kill my husband for no reason.
Well, that was the thing I was going to bring up. I was like, we need the husbands to listen to this episode because I think they need to understand how to handle. And I think it causes a lot of issues in marriages because they don't understand because they've been with this person who's acted a certain way, had a certain sex drive. And so then it like starts to create this tension
and they think it's them.
Yep.
And they think it's them. They're like, why, what do you mean you're not getting lubricated for me? Why are we having vaginal dryness? Like, are you not attracted to me? And like, let's be honest, men solely base their self-worth off of how wet we get.
Dude.
For real. And if their penis works, let's be real. Like,
and
really.
If it's happening.
Yes. If sex isn't happening, then something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
And I agree. Like, I'm not saying that nothing's wrong. Something is wrong. It's changing in the woman though. It's nothing that she can do to control it. It's our biological time clock.
So when you're mid-sex and you're annoyed that like, she's like, we have to have lube, get the fucking lube. Like, it's uncomfortable. It turns into sandpaper.
Well, and then it's like, it's the same thing with us though. Cause then we're worried about it. Right. We're like, same like with guys that have problems with erectile dysfunction and things like that. That's in their brain. So then they're like, oh crap. Hopefully that doesn't happen. It happens to women too. We unfortunately, when we start to have those Teton like, movements on our graph of our cycle of estrogen, every time it drops, those estrogen receptors are the most abundant in the vagina, in the bladder, in that area, right? And so think about when you lose your estrogen, you're losing elasticity. You're losing life to those muscles. You're starting to have breakdown. You're starting to have atrophy of the vagina and the bladder, right? And so then, yes, of course, they're not as healthy. So unfortunately, they don't secrete. They're not producing that natural lubricant anymore.
Yeah.
But then the next day, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I've got great lubrication today. And then they're so excited because their husband's going to come home tomorrow and everything's going to be great. We're back down to down again.
It's wild how it like, because I look back to where mine was bad, and I think it's crazy because like my whole body hurt.
Oh yeah.
Every joint hurt.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I swear I'm not 87.
Oh yeah. But
why do I feel like fucking
that?
87? Like it was like painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So joint and body pain is huge for loss of estrogen, because estrogen is what keeps our muscles strong and our bones strong. It's also huge, like I said, for like the biggest thing that I want to get through is mental health, right? So like people will come in, or females will come in and be like, I used to handle this stress like none other, right? Like I got this down. All of a sudden they're like, I'm crying in bed. I want to rip my husband's head off, all these things. And I need them to know is like perimenopause isn't the new you. It's this little tiny like speed bump on the road of life, right? Yeah. And if you know what symptoms you're looking for, and especially if you're already on progesterone, if you start having the 5Bs breaking through, or if you start feeling mental health changes or those types of things, then that is your estrogen waxing and waning. But the problem is it can last up to 10 years before your body truly gives out.
Dude, it's such a bitch. Like, why do women, what do the dudes even go through?
You're going to have to ask, our husbands downstairs.
Let's dissect this.
Yeah, no,
they're not pregnant. They don't have to deliver a baby. I'm not trying to be a feminist here, but like,
we go through some stuff. We go through a lot of crap compared to them. Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing is, if all of a sudden, I loved how Dr. Mary Claire put this on one of her interviews. She said, if a male goes in and he's 30, goes in to the doctor and says, hey doc, my testicles are shrinking and I'm not able to perform intercourse. I cannot get an erection, right? Oh my gosh, full blown freaking medical workup, right?
Yeah,
head to toe. Yep. This is bad. We got to do all the blood work. Oh, your testosterone's low. Let's put it back in there. Here you go. Have a great day. And all of a sudden men are like, oh, I'm back. Wonderful. Perfect. Women, we have a few extra parts. Like I said before, we have a few extra parts that require a little bit more TLC, especially during perimenopause. So when people come in and ask me, they're like, how can you tell that I'm in perimenopause? It's truly like if you take blood, that's one day out of the month. How's that painting any type of picture, right? One day. Yeah. So I actually rely heavily on symptoms.
Yeah.
Do you know what one of the biggest deficiency of estrogen is in women according to their sleep with estrogen loss? Do you know why?
Is it something to do with like stress?
Yes, cortisol.
Okay.
Cortisol.
Yeah, I was like,
exactly.
What's it?
Yes.
Starts with the C.
Yeah. So we all know, well, if you don't know, your cortisol spikes about 2 or 3 in the morning, right? Estrogen. And that's why a lot of women
laugh because I always
yes
pee at 2
you have to pee at 2 or 3 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So because what happens is, cortisol spikes, estrogen's there to be like, hey, we're good. You don't need to wake up. We don't need to go into fight or flight. There's not a bear in the corner of this room getting ready to slash me, right? Estrogen says, chill out. You can stay asleep. Everything's fine. When we start to lose that estrogen, our body wakes us up, fight or flight. And then we're like anxious and we can't go back to sleep. We toss and turn. And then we feel like crap the next day because you didn't get any sleep anyway, right? Yeah. So not only is our body thinking that there's this bear in our bedroom, it's going to shunt all of our fat cells, all of our protective mechanisms to the most important part of the body, which is our core. So that's why a lot of women will be like, why do I got this spare tire going on here? I've never had a spare tire in my life, like what's happening here? And I'm like, that's a huge indication that estrogen loss is happening because our body's natural defense system is to protect our organs from that bear in the corner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So that's a big thing to look at too. And so I loved listening to your prior, podcast about exercise and showing up for yourself. Like, yes, it's a lot of work, but especially if you've done the work and you know what you need to do to stay healthy and that starts happening, that's a huge red flag to people. So sleep disturbances, waking up about 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden our body composition's a lot different. Yeah, estrogen is what keeps us right and tight. when you lose the estrogen, things start expanding. Things aren't as, supple. That's where you start to see a lot of skin changes. Like we all know our moms and grandmas that have like the really thin skin and the crepey skin. It's because they lost their estrogen. Estrogen is what keeps everything right intact.
It's so wild to me that like no one like talks about it. So
no,
it's like, I feel like society is just like menopause. There's like, no one's talking about perimenopause because they're different.
Oh yeah.
So we went back to age. So what do you just right after 35
so 35 I really start to see a lot of changes in estrogen, sometimes periods changes and things like that. I really cue into it after 40 to tell you the truth, because especially if they're not on progesterone from 35 to 40, I'm like, okay, this is just progesterone deficiency. If you put progesterone in there and all of a sudden you're still waking up at night, you're still having night sweats and hot flashes, then that's more of that estrogen fluctuation. So I would say get on top of your hormones early, 35, at least have a good baseline to see where everything's at. Because I always tell my patients this, and they can attest to it. We're about to go through hell in a handbag when we start going through perimenopause, and that estrogen's like this.
Stating it nicely.
Oh yeah.
Hell in a handbag.
Hell in a handbag. Nice it is like, hold on for a wild ass ride is what it is.
You literally feel like you're a different person. And then your spouse is saying that to you, right? Because you used to always want sex. Like, where'd that, like, you know what I mean? And then you're just like, and then you're like, am I broken? Like, what's going on?
Right.
And then, I mean, so many times I'm like, Haileigh, I guess I need more testosterone. She's like, no, you don't. You need a nap.
You need a nap is what you need.
We've talked about naps a lot on this. So what is the biggest myth about menopause that you hear constantly, and then the one about perimenopause? Because I just don't think there is an education on it.
No,
like I feel like it's so like,
well, menopause we just barely started getting the attention as females that we deserve, and it's not even close to a lot of our research and those types of things are actually derived off of male patients, not females. So menopause, biggest myth with menopause is, yes, we do, when we hit true menopause and we lose those hormones, yes, we do start aging exponentially. We absolutely do. The myth there is we don't have to. You don't have to just go through menopause and be like, okay, I guess I'm done. Put me out to pasture. Like, I'm over. I'm not supposed to have muscle. I'm not supposed to have a good personality or, want to be around people, because social isolation is a big part of losing your estrogen too. So, and then.
That is so interesting. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, check.
Oh yeah. Like, you really don't, like, 'cause you don't have the bandwidth of people, because you truly don't even feel like yourself. So why do you want to be around other people if you can't love yourself? You know what I mean? So like, it's a big thing with perimenopause. I think the biggest myth and the problem that most practitioners make is they initiate estrogen instead of progesterone. They have to understand that perimenopause is a deficiency of both hormones and not just estrogen. So if you were to straight up replace estrogen on those, peaks of the Tetons, you're going to add fuel to that fire. You're going to have more 5Bs, right?
Oh yeah.
And then it drops and you're like, oh, okay, thankful have a little bit estrogen there. Maybe I'll feel a little bit better. But the highs of that is 10 times worth without progesterone. So just because you're in perimenopause, the biggest thing is people will be like, here's an antidepressant. Got to deal with it. This is just aging. That's a myth. That's a myth.
You lie.
Like, you're lying.
Sack of shit.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Well, and what's the biggest side effect to antidepressants?
Weight gain, anxiety with some of them. Yep. I'm trying to think.
Low libido.
Low libido is another one. Yep. Yeah, the list goes on.
Oh yeah.
And on.
Yep. All the things. So why, as a perimenopausal woman that is having a hard time in her own skin, right? We don't feel comfortable in our own skin. I literally decreased my progesterone like a dumbass. I know better. And I'm in perimenopause. And guess what happened to my face? Guess what happened to my bloating? I couldn't wear the pants I wanted to wear last week. Like, that's how severe it is. So I'm telling you, like, you guys aren't by yourself. Like, even the hormone specialist knows. And I'm like, oh shit, I did something wrong. I needed higher progesterone, right? But the problem is if you go in and tell your doctor, that's not medically trained in hormone replacement and say, okay, I don't want to have sex. I'm gaining a bunch of weight. I want to get out of bed. I hate my friends. I don't want to go horseback riding anymore, blah, 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 blah. They're like, oh, you're depressed.
You're depressed.
So let me put you in a zombie state.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
So you don't care whether you're happy or sad. You don't care if you're gaining weight because you're in a zombie state. And then I'm also emotions. Yes. And then I'm also going to take your libido away.
Cool.
Yeah, super awesome.
So now your husband's married to a rock.
Exactly.
With no emotions.
And there, I saw this thing on social media the other day, and this guy was so funny. He's like, guys, I'm going to talk you through perimenopause. This is what you do and what you don't do. First off, don't chew loudly. Second off,
so true.
don't chew loudly. And then he goes, second off, breathe very quietly. Actually, don't breathe at all. Wait, she's going to get mad at you if you die. You got to breathe a little. Like, it was so funny.
There are moments where I'm like, why is Josh chewing like that? Like, why can I hear it so much?
Oh, yeah.
And there's been times where I've been like, just tell him to like chill out on the chewing. And then I'm like, no, that's going to make him so mad.
I know.
But literally, it's like you could hear it more and you're like, Gah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, there was, it just causes so many different changes. Like, my current husband, I came home from a weekend with my friends, and we hadn't seen each other for a couple days, and it was just magical, right? Sex was off the charts, everything was great. Well, I was also in my peak of my estrogen, and of course I didn't decrease my progesterone at that time, so it was just phenomenal, right? The next day I had a hard time with lubrication, and he's like, what the heck, like what happened? And I was like, oh, I checked my estrogen, and I was like, oh my God, I lost my estrogen again. So it's just this wax and wane, and it literally changes you, because then you don't feel like having sex. It hurts. You can't reach climax. Climax is so brutal without testosterone and estrogen in your life. And a lot of people just think, oh, I just need more testosterone. I just need more testosterone. No, it's an estrogen deficiency. Estrogen is what causes sensitivity in males and females. So that's why I don't like estrogen blockers in males, because then they have a limp unit. Yes, exactly.
So I've heard like magic about, I don't do estrogen cream. I just take the estradiol, but I hear I hear this estrogen cream.
Phenomenal.
I won't share whose name said it to me, but she was like, you literally have like this fluffy brand new vagina. And I'm like, well, I want that.
Yeah, exactly. So estrogen cream is a godsend for women that aren't ready for oral estrogen replacement yet. Okay. But you also want to use it after. So remember how I said like estrogen is mostly abundance in those tissues, right? In this areas where that estrogen loss happens first, because there's so many receptors there. So estrogen cream is nice because it's not systemic, so it won't add fuel to the fire, right? When we're at the top
why don't
of the
I have this? Can you script me that?
I know.
Dude, I'm like,
it's because, I don't know. We need to get you on it. But so the first symptom where people will come in that I prescribe it a lot is they're like, I'm not getting wet down there anymore. And it feels like something's tearing upon insertion. It feels like sandpaper. And, but they're like, I'm still having my period every month though. And I said, okay, that's all right. Yes, you can still have your period. That means you're still cycling, but it means your estrogen isn't showing up for you the way that it is. Or the other thing is UTIs and yeast infections, because estrogen is what keeps the tissue integrity intact. So estrogen cream is a godsend because you do it at bedtime. You apply it literally clitoris to anus. It gets up into the urethra, so where we pee from, right?
Does it help with bladder control?
Yes. So that's like a straight shot or a straight dose of estrogen to that area without it having to go systemic and cause like breast tenderness and those types of things.
So it's so interesting, because that was the other thing that I noticed is I was peeing all the freaking time, because it's those tissue, you lose that elasticity in those tissues, and so your bladder is not,
and everything drops. So I saw this diagram. It was really interesting. It was this full-blown uterus. Say it was like the size of my hand, right? And it was just pure, perfect, beautiful premenopausal uterus. Perimenopause, it shrunk by half. Menopause, it shrunk by it was literally a fourth of the size and it was supposed to be. So that's why sex starts to become painful. That's why there's a lot of pressure. There's all these different things. It's because literally it like changes the whole dynamic where, one, you either tear upon insertion because that estrogen's not there, or two, everything becomes so loose that you literally can't feel anything. So, and it's because estrogen is what keeps that tissue viable. So I love estrogen vaginal cream. You can get it through retail pharmacies with a prescription, obviously, or my preferred is a compounded cream, because then you can change the base that it's made in. So it kind of is like a lotion base. So that's literally what I tell my clients. I'm like, this is a lotion for your vagina.
That's amazing.
use it and things will come back online. It is the best thing, especially paired with that vaginal device is phenomenal. But that way, so if you're ever worried, like if you're like, oh, is it time to do oral estrogen? Is it time for me to do my systemic estrogen? But I'm having all these symptoms, especially vaginally. Ask your doc or whoever it is that prescribes to you for estrogen vaginal cream a couple times a week. It's wonderful. If we were to do this for all of our menopausal females, think about all of your moms and grandmas that have had a UTI and got delirium. They all of a sudden can't remember you. They're like, up in the middle of the night making pancakes at 2 a.m.
This is the thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So UTIs and yeast infections or any type of infections in older individuals can cause acute delirium. And so in order to prevent that, you give them estrogen cream, even though they're not sexually active, that doesn't matter. You give them estrogen cream and it decreases UTIs and yeast infections.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So trying to figure out where I'm going with this. If somebody's in perimenopause, because I'm seeing this great example, but there's also money involved. So there may be like treatment there, but like a lot of people in like the Hollywood space are having babies a lot older.
Correct. Yeah.
So can you still get pregnant, still carry a child when you're in? Okay.
Yep. So it just might be a little bit harder because what happens is when the estrogen, like I said, the estrogen is supposed to peak about 2 times a month. It's just this really pretty curve right through the month. What happens is sometimes ovulation can get delayed because estrogen peaks too high. So it's almost like a good way of explaining this so people understand is your estrogen levels almost rise to the occasion to pop out the egg, but it goes too much. And so the body thinks it's pregnant already. So it doesn't release an egg.
Makes sense.
But then the next day it drops. The body's like, oh, well, I guess I better bleed because I'm not pregnant. So so when people start having, 2 or 3 periods a month, it's because they're not talking to each other. Our hormones aren't talking to each other anymore. So yes, you can still get pregnant. It is a high risk, though, if you're not on progesterone, of miscarriage. So you've got to make sure that you're on progesterone. And then it just makes it a little bit harder to kind of track the ovulation things. But yes, it is still a possibility.
Okay. So we're going to go through some symptoms.
Okay.
This one's I love this because I like know stuff because I have Haileigh in my back pocket, but then I like read these things and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what it was. Heart palpitations.
Palpitations.
What is it?
Palpitations.
Whatever.
Okay. So I love talking about this because, my background was cardiology for a long time.
Yeah.
I think back about all these women. I can see their faces, Cass. I can see their faces. And I'm like
coming in thinking something's wrong with them.
Yes. And we did a full-blown workup because we caught like palpitations on an EKG, right? So it is full-blown workup. We're doing a cardiac angiogram. I'm not kidding you how many women were like, we can't find anything wrong. So wear this Holter monitor and we'll see what it does. Now that I know what I know, I'm like, oh my God, all those poor women were going through perimenopause and menopause.
And they think they're like dying of heart failure.
Yes, exactly. So what we found, and there is so much research to support this, what we found, and this is males and females, but females are more symptomatic from the palpitation standpoint. So when your estrogen drops, again, estrogen is what helps conduction of the heart and keeping all of those smooth muscles and all the different types of muscles that work up your heart healthy. Same as our skin, right? Our skin's going to start to sag when we lose our estrogen. Skin's an organ. Skins are made of cells, just like the rest of our body. So not only do we start to have heart palpitations because we're anxious, because estrogen is what decreases anxiousness in perimenopause, we also will start to have heart arrhythmias. Now, I'm saying this like I don't want anybody to be like, oh my gosh, I had a palpitation. It's my hormones. No, if you're having new onset palpitations, you really need to talk to your doctor. Make sure you're not overlooking anything. But estrogen is what keeps our good cholesterol high as well. So we'll start to have bad cholesterol. Then we start to have plaque buildup. Then our valves aren't working correctly. Like it's all this vicious cycle. And that's why a lot of men, so remember men, testosterone breaks down into estrogen. That's why they can't block the estrogen. Long story short, we don't block estrogen in males or females. Yes. And then the other horror thing that I see is, these women that are going through perimenopause or even menopause are put on birth control. Birth control hormones.
Why?
Because, instead of having Tetons, let's just flatline it. Yeah, it is the dumbest way of thinking, but it is what it is.
I just think, here's the crazy thing is I remember, and I feel like we had this conversation. I feel like you were this girl too. I remember so many friends in high school that got put on birth control because they had bad periods. This all could have been avoided with progesterone.
Correct. So most of my little gals that come and see me, like luckily their moms usually see me or their mom's friend sees me. And I'm not kidding you. I was just having this conversation, I think with the boys the other day, but I said, I have started to see the weirdest deficiencies in young ages. Remember, I've been in hormones since I was 18, right? So that's 18 years of hormones.
She knows a few things.
I know a few things. I never saw these deficiencies back then. Mind you, I wasn't a practitioner. I was just a medical assistant, just the office manager, but I still saw the blood, right? And I'm like, okay. And now it's like these young 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds are coming in and they have estrogen that's through the roof.
Yeah.
They have no progesterone. So their periods are awful. They have awful acne, all of these things. And it's because progesterone's gone. So I actually put them on progesterone because I don't want to suppress their estrogen, but I want to add to what they're missing so they don't have to deal with the painful periods.
Do you think this is why there's been I feel like there's also been a massive uprise on infertility?
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it also plays into our insulin resistance. And that's why I harp on insulin resistance so much. The worst thing you can do for yourself in perimenopause is drink 0 sugar drinks or artificial sweeteners.
Listen.
God!
My hormones are balanced. My GLP-1s are GLP-1ing. And I have a doctor on speed dial.
I cringe every time she
listen,
grabs that freaking bottle. Oh my God.
You know what happens when I drink regular sugar shit?
Tell me and let me tell you why. Try it.
Fight me. I literally feel like I'm drinking straight syrup.
Yep.
And I literally my guts are like, you can go and F yourself. Why?
Because. So here we go.
Here's the answer.
Here's the answer.
She's given me a spill 40 times and I'm still going to drink this shit.
So
but I'll let you guys learn and change your habits.
Please do. Please do. Because especially during perimenopause, like I said, your body needs a little TLC. So you have to do things daily that make it easier on you. Especially if you don't have your progesterone or if you're not microdosing GLPs and getting some better insulin control. All you do when you drink 0 sugar drinks is pump out more insulin. Insulin irritates vascular spaces. Insulin pisses off cells of our body. So what happens there is if we have too much insulin, we can cause leaky gut, right? So leaky gut happens. We need to heal our gut. So when you drink a real monster, like the sugar monster, leptin,
64 grams of carbs.
Leptin comes through. Leptin tells you that you're full or satisfied. That's why a lot of people will only be able to drink a smidgen of real sugar drinks because our body's got a natural way of protecting us and saying, hey bitch, you're done. If you drink more of this, I'm going to make you sick. Most people don't realize it until they've already had too much because they're used to drinking their zeros. That doesn't cause that issue, right?
That's why I drink 44 ounces of the zeros.
Oh my God. Just every time you say anything like that, just gives
I'll call
I'm
her
working so hard.
I'll be pulling up to Fizz. I'll be like, can I get a 44 ounce zero sugar? She's like, bitch.
Meanwhile, I have the best progesterone in the world and my blood pressure goes up 10 points every time Cassidy says that shit. But
sorry.
No, it's okay. So and again, I'll ask the question, how many people besides Cass, because her hormones are freaking
I don't drink Diet
dialed,
Coke.
How many people do you know that are skinny,
that
aren't on
GLPs,
that are drinking Diet Coke?
We'll wait.
Yeah. Not very
That's
many.
why I drink Diet Dr. P's.
Oh my God. Any zeros, any diet. So what your body's going through, and remember estrogen tries to show up for us. So when you're going through perimenopause specifically, our cells aren't strong. Our guts aren't strong. Our literal conduction of our heart system isn't strong. It's just not where it used to be because estrogen is what helps those things. So really no energy drinks would be the way to go. But I understand in a world like this, you people are addicted to energy drinks. Let's take some B12. Let's take some B complexes. Let's have some coffee, something like that, instead of pumping out all of this insulin on our body because we're already having a hard time losing weight. Yeah. We pump out more insulin. Our body has sugar food cravings because we block leptin. And so we're starving ourselves, but we're really not. But our body's going to crave those sugar and carbs. And all of that is very inflammatory for our body. So then all of a sudden we're super bloated. And we're owie and we feel tight and our rings are tight. And it's like, well, why? Well, could have gone without that sugar-free monster yesterday. also it breaks us out like crazy as well.
So funny. She was with me and she's like, I actually want to get a Monster drink. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, it's fine. She's like, but watch in 2 days, I'll have zits all over my chin.
And I have been battling it
ever
since.
So crazy.
And again, in that moment, you want that. And I get, you guys, I get it. It tastes delicious. I have my minutes too. But you know what I don't want to do is have to sit on this side of the camera because my face is broken out so bad from
beautiful.
that stupid 5 seconons of happiness.
You probably didn't even finish the whole thing.
I literally drank this much of it. You ordered me the big one and I was like, I'm going to drink
we like the bigger is better.
Yeah, Cass is all the big stuff. But
all right, let's talk about sex.
Okay.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Okay. I love that she sings with me. It's so good. Okay. What happens to sex drive during perimenopause and why? Like deeply, like
yes. Yep. So whoever made us, whatever you believe in, whether that be evolution or a man upstairs, made it so our sex drive is the highest around ovulation, right? That's how we procreate. That's how we get pregnant. So, and again, estrogen is only supposed to increase, and that's why we're really horny on our periods too. Okay.
Yeah, and we could talk about period sex all day.
Yes, we can.
But yes.
So ovulation increases, estrogen increases, it causes vasodilation, so things are really super sensitive. And as the estrogen increases, of course, our testosterone increases and it increases our sex drive. Okay. So that's why everybody's like, oh, ovulation week and Shark Week. Like that's the best time. That's why it feels the best too. If you think about it, like climax is easier, all the things. Well, if we're used to that and that's great, and that's 2 times a month, maybe 2 weeks out of the month that we have good estrogen levels, all of a sudden we're going from that to the Tetons again. I keep going back to that Tetons because the estrogen looks like this on the graph. Every time that estrogen falls, we're not going to have a sex drive. Things are not going to be lubricated. Things are not going to be vasodilated. We're not going to feel as good. So maybe you've got this specific toy that just gets you off immediately, right? Maybe that week it's phenomenal. The next week you're like, oh shit, is this? I'm like, is this battery dead? Like, do I need to charge this? What's going on? And it's not. It's because of our innate fluctuations of our hormones, and it can dictate how horny we are or if we can climax. And with perimenopause, it gets really hard to figure out, okay, well, I felt great last night. I didn't tonight. It used to be a week. Now it's not. What's going on there? And so it really affects that drive, and especially that, craving of the intimacy. Oxytocin's, oxytocin's our love drug that makes us want to be close and intimate with our people. Now it's not just sexually, it's also what we produce when we put our babies on our chest after birthing and things like that. Oxytocin decreases with estrogen loss. I mean, estrogen truly is a driving force. Of course, testosterone helps a lot. But when you start to lose that estrogen, man, you, like I said, no man's land. Whatever
it's so funny too, because I feel like this world is like so against estrogen. Like they think like estrogen fat, they think estrogen,
I
like
still
cancer,
get that question.
Estrogen, breast cancer, estrogen. And I'm like,
I know we talked about it a little bit on our first podcast, but maybe we need to recap that again. So remember everybody. So before 2002, there was like this massive use of hormone replacement therapy. I agree. They weren't the best hormones. They were derived from pregnant mare horse urine, those types of things that aren't natural to us. There was a study that came out, and the study scared the shit out of everybody about hormones. It was from the Women's Health Initiative. It was the most poorly designed study. They took women that already had cardiac disease, that were already lost in their menopause, and put them on hormones like birth control.
Yeah, the birth control.
Yes. Again. So it wasn't just, and in that study, for those that need to know the nitty gritty, the arm that was controlled with just estrogen alone, no stroke-like symptoms, no changes in breast tissue, nothing, even with the shitty hormones. Okay. But when you add something that's called progesterone, which is in birth control, oral birth control, into the mix, that combination of those 2 synthetic hormones is what increases the risk of the breast tissue changes. Okay. So that's why women that have been on oral birth control are at very high risk because it is.
Isn't that funny? Our whole lives are like,
it's easy. Women, your period, like, your periods are awful. You're having these mood swings. Here's your candy to take every single day. Like they literally handed out birth control like candy. Thankfully nowadays that has really decreased because people understand the difference.
When you had to fight to get an IUD too.
Remember
when they're like, oh, you haven't had kids, you gotta wait.
And
I'm like, I ain't taking a pill.
Well, and again, I love the IUD. It is hormonal, but it's not systemic. It's very local to those tissues. It's very protective, and we can have our natural hormones on top of it.
Yeah.
So Anyway, when that study came out, the statistics are crazy. It went from 90% of people using hormone replacement therapy down to 5 overnight. Like, it was so bad because even in that last paragraph of that, if people really truly read the study, they'd say, it said oral E2, which is identical to the molecule that we produce of estrogen, estradiol, and micronized progesterone, which is P4, what we produce, seem to negate these side effects.
It freaking said that in the article?
Nobody read it. Nobody read it all the way down. So then all of a sudden,
don't believe what you see on the internet.
Yes, exactly. So then all of a sudden, all hormones are bad. And it's like, wait, what? So then us in the hormone world, we're like, but this is what we see in clinical practice. That got better with this, Okay, what about these thousands of research that's been out rebuttaling that?
Yeah.
But it was funded by a very large, prestigious medical journal. It's all about money, right? Money. So those little studies didn't get the traction, that the big one did. Well, it was a huge win for us in May of 2024. That prestigious medical journal came out and said, we messed up.
Hey, JK.
That
how
study,
many years difference was that?
So that was 2002 to 2024. So that was a long freaking time, 22 years of
22 years
harming women. And so then they said, just kidding, this article is retracted. Hormones are actually good for you. And then it took it a step further. And the FDA last fall removed the black box warning off of estrogen because it does not cause cancer. But for our moms and our grandmas, though, these poor women just... Like, we were literally getting lobotomies, Cass. We were getting lobotomies when we'd lose our hormones. We would get lobotomies performed on us to get rid of that. And then hysterectomy to remove the hysteria.
Dude, if we learn anything in the last 10 years, it's don't believe what the big dog people are telling you about your health.
Very
discouraging.
discouraging.
You guys can call me controversy, like whatever, but it's
very
like,
discouraging.
I'm like, look at all this shit coming out, Dr. Fauci and freaking COVID and that whole mess, and like, I'm like, oh god,
it's very discouraging, especially when you see the back end and you truly understand the studies. You're like, I don't want to put this person on an antidepressant for her perimenopause. I'd like to give her progesterone. Insurance is like, now insurance covers it, which is nice, but back in the day to be like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean? But you're going to cover oral birth control and antidepressants instead? And you're going to pay for her lobotomy? What?
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
I'm confused.
Oh, yeah. No, it's sickening.
Okay, so this is kind of like a question you and I are probably going to have to tag team on. So how much of low desire is hormonal versus relational versus psychological?
Oh, my God. It's all of that. It's a third each.
Well, and I think... a lot of people don't understand this. Like, some people have like instant, like most men.
No,
I want to do it. Let me put it in. Like, we're ready.
It's very mechanical.
Yeah. And women are responsive. Desire. And then it's like, so like there's a product, which I love, which you're going to actually be able to, they're here at this thing, but I've been obsessed with it ever since I've tried it. They're also a Utah brand that every intimate massage cream. And I was talking to the founder, Justin, before this event that he's coming to. And I was like, I think the difference of this, because it's an intimate massage cream and it literally can be used as a lube. And I said, I think the reason, like I joke, like me and Josh joke, like we're both obsessed with it. I'm like, is there like crack cocaine in it? Because it literally when you use it, it's like this, I am feeling things I've never felt before. And I think because you like start with a massage and then it leads into everything else. It's also like you're slowing down and you're being like, you're taking the time, and it takes time for women. And I think too many people skip that. Oh yeah. And then something's wrong or like it's not working or whatever. But it's like, it literally turns on these like sensory like feelings I feel like I've like, give me a butt rub and bang me into next Tuesday. Like
absolutely.
A butt rub wasn't like a normal part of our intimacy, but it's like and then I'm like, we ran out of this stuff for like 2 weeks and I used other shit and I'm like, you don't realize how good it is because like, I'm like, it is not supposed to, you're not supposed to be sore. You're not supposed to feel like you had sandpaper to your vagina for 2 days. Like, and with every, like, I literally, it like moisturizes those tissues.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's clean. It's
Keeps
like
it healthy.
Oh, I'm telling you, everybody buy some on my website. It's amazing.
It smells good too. Like when you put it on my arm that day, and I kept just smelling it all day. I was like, oh my God, that's so nice.
Yeah,
and it was like
smell
so
good.
pretty.
Oh,
And like, yeah,
it's
it was
just
so great.
It is
Well,
the best.
I think one thing, like, again, yes, we try to coach as many people through this as we possibly can with perimenopause, but like your girl doesn't feel right. She doesn't feel like herself. She's probably got a negative self-body image right now because things are changing so much, right? So that little time of connection where you're using this massage oil and letting her be in a safe space and you're pampering her, that will increase your chances of getting laid. Like just taking this stress and providing a safe space for this individual. Like I don't think men truly understand how important that is. Like especially for people like you and I that run our whole lives, right? Like just that one moment where they're wanting to care for us smells delicious. They don't know that it might freaking, they don't know that it's going to help us after and things like that.
Yeah.
But like it's fun for them and it's fun for us. And it just, it's so emotional. It's got to be, like I said before, dishes have to be done, kids in bed, stress levels are down. You know what I mean? That's what puts us in the mood. It doesn't mean that we don't love them. It doesn't mean that we're not so attracted to our husbands, right? Or our boyfriends or our spouses. It doesn't even have to, I mean, hell, like especially with those couples that are females, like you poor things, hang in there and really lean on each other because this is going to be a rough time. Like you guys have to take turns taking care of each other because perimenopause doesn't have a clock either, so anyway, I think that to answer your question, yes, it's hormonal. Absolutely. Because those fluctuations can happen. You've got to have that communication, that intimacy together and then have a good product in order to make sure that you're not sore after, you know what I mean? And that it's not causing yeast infections. Cause that was a big thing for a long time. Remember when like a lot of these crappy companies came out with these awful lubes?
Terrible.
I was like, oh my God, don't put that in your vagina. Holy crap. They'd be like, why am I having these little balls of gel come out? I'm like, oh, like that is just a breeding ground,
So gross.
Yeah. So yes, it's
I literally am like, this is the best stuff I've used in 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Like I tell everyone, I mean, we put it in the Bybee family group chat.
Love it. I could just see her.
Well, I was very like professional. Like I'm never like, I think people think like, oh my gosh, does she just like sling sex toys to her family members or whatever? Like I'm not like, I'm very professional. Like if people come to me for help, like I treat stuff like HIPAA.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm very that way.
Absolutely.
But I literally was like, okay, guys, don't make this awkward because it's like my family, And I was like, but this stuff is amazing.
Yeah,
like,
y'all need it. I'm getting this for Christmas.
That's a great idea. I'm gonna give it to all of them.
Well, if
Christmas.
you guys are listening, act like you're surprised when Cassidy gives you your Christmas present.
And no, I don't just give people lube for Christmas, but this stuff I'm just because it. And you were talking, and I was like, I really feel like. Remember how I said it's laced with crack cocaine? I literally feel like it creates that release of the oxytocin.
Oh yeah. Well, the smell and the touch and like the all of it.
The funny thing is I don't think Justin really fully realizes how good it is.
Well, that's why scents are so important, right? Because certain scents.
Well, the reason this is amazing, it's so clean this is the Josh that comes out in me that I've learned. So when you add a scent into a product, there's chemicals involved with that.
Oh yeah.
If you add a flavor, natural derived flavor. Scent naturally comes from that. So then you're not having, Josh's Hydro.
Yeah.
When you mix it,
I love it.
that aroma.
Yeah.
He doesn't scent to drink.
Yeah. Oh, that's
But
true.
you don't think of it that way.
Yeah.
And that's how every was built.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great product.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Dude, it's money.
Especially during perimenopause because tissues need
gosh.
help. We need all the help we can get.
It's just, and you just feel so good. Like, TMI, but we like totally used it last night, and I'm just like, this stuff is just, I love it.
It's just nice, like after when you go to the bathroom and things like that, things don't hurt, and
no,
it's just like supple and
you
nice.
just go to bed and you're like, you don't feel like an oily, sticky mess, and
you're
just like, I'm moisturized, my vagina's happy, and
good night. Just takes a little extra TLC nowadays. You know, that's okay. It's not a big deal. But not saying just nowadays. Let's be clear. Like premenopausal women need this too, right? Always lube. This product
brand
always
new newlyweds
always
in the Utah culture
always.
They've never had sex before, they need a bottle of every.
Yes.
Like I'm not kidding, like I'm like this stuff, and I like I said, I don't think Justin realizes how freaking good this
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
is. I see this cute little Justin and his wife Natalie, and they have created a product in an industry that I think they're just like, here we are.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's good that we've been able to connect and collaborate. I've been
yeah.
able to help them like spread the word about it because it is so good.
I think that's also like a little thing that you guys need to talk about too, especially these little gals that are in Utah that things are kind of awkward, right?
Yep.
Because nothing's been talked about,
Nope.
which that would be our next spot. We need to talk about all the things prior to sex. But anyway, I think it would be a good icebreaker for them. Hey, here's a massage oil.
Oh,
Give your girl a rub down. Give your guy a rub down.
Yep.
Like, you know, get that connection.
Yeah,
and
they don't
then
know
you
how
use
to-
it 2 for 1.
two for one.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going back to this because I just brought up Josh.
Okay.
But I want you to explain why, because it is technically a 0 sugar product. But why do you love Josh's and why do you sell it in your clinic?
Because it's so clean and it doesn't break me out.
When it's made, it's made with natural sweetener.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a stevia.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not like the same. Yeah.
So I don't carry anything in my clinic that I haven't personally vetted. So like all of my supplements, I've tried every single one of them. I know exactly what they're going to do. I've looked at everything, right? And Josh knows how I feel about artificial sweeteners and things like that. And so I said, okay, Josh, well, I'm going to tell you like the truth here because I'm so sensitive. Like I told you, I'm going to drink this. I will have 3 zits tomorrow. Just wait.
Yeah.
If it has something bad in it, if it has artificial sweeteners in it, I will be broken out. We can dive into how that works. But anyway, so I was like, okay. So I started drinking his hydro for a week. You guys, I did not have one pimple. I was like, holy shit, he did it. He made it. Like this is a gold mine. And then it tastes so good. So
good.
The biggest thing too that people forget about, especially during hormone fluctuation, estrogen makes us retain water, right? Then when it drops, we feel dry as a bone. So it's really important to stay hydrated. So that's why I carry his product in my clinic because people are like, I hate water. I hate water. I'm like, okay, I do too. Look at these packs. You need to try these packs. Trust me, you'll drink.
Yeah,
I'm like, you will drink this. Like it tastes so good. And they're like, oh, I don't like it. I don't like, I liquid IVs or blah, blah, blah.
It doesn't taste like liquid IV.
Because it's so salty.
So
and I'm
salty.
like, this does not taste like that. Please just try it. Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, hey, your kidney function looks great. What have you been drinking your water? They're like, yeah, I've been buying that hydro stuff. I'm like, yes,
My boy Josh,
so it's so good and it's just so clean. And I'm like, oh my God, this is an amazing product. Like, and I don't normally say I'm pretty strict with what I say. I like.
There's a lot of garb out there, and it's so funny because I'm like, do you want to try this? And they're like, oh yeah, well I drink hydration, and I'm like, try it.
Just try it.
And then they try it, and they're like, then it's funny because then I start seeing, because sometimes I help them with packages, and then I start seeing people on subscription 10 bags at a time.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. No, people were pissed. We ran out for, I think you guys were out of town or something like that. So I couldn't get my shipment from you guys or something, which was on my bad because I needed it right then and there. But yeah, people were like, where's the hydro? And I'm like, here, like, I'm like, well, you can order it directly from his website, like, and he'll get it right out to you, And so, no, I think it's really important to, especially during perimenopause, going back to that, like, remember chronic dehydration is as bad for you and as bad for your heart and your skin and your vascular space as eating McDonald's 3 times a day for a year.
Should we tell them a story about my dehydration?
Oh my God. Well, when you choose to go out and play for a week in the middle of an ocean.
So I went to Florida, and we're sidebarring. And I mean, this is so against everything.
Remember that Cassidy's in perimenopause, so she can't do things like she used to.
So I know we just talked about the importance of hydration, but if you hydrate while you are drinking adult beverages, the hydro is really good with coconut rum, water, and ice. Okay, so I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. And I drank that in Florida, but I was hydrated. Mm-hmm. And then when I was done drinking, I drank hydro with water. Mm-hmm. Like we were just, doing our thing. I drink other things too. But anyways, and then our Florida trip was 7 days. And then I flew home, literally grabbed the other bag that was packed. I got home at 9 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, or vice versa, whatever. Saturday, we had a flight at 7 a.m. Yep. And we went to Morgan Wallen. Morgan.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. And then I came home and I'm trying to think of what the symptoms was. Was it part of was it dizziness? Like what was it?
So you had dizziness and then you well, I could tell from your skin turgor that you were skin turgor means like when you tint your skin and it stays up. I could tell that it was dehydrated. So I was like, Cassie, you also had, a couple drinks at Morgan Wallen too.
I was like, yeah, whatever.
It's really hard to bullshit your best friend that's a doctor or not a doctor, a nurse practitioner, when you're with her 24/7. And I'm like, bitch, you have not drank water all weekend. You've been drinking those cutthroats. Like, we gotta
she
hydrate.
looked at I had done labs.
Yeah.
And she's like the kidneys were just not kidney.
They were not happy.
So she's like, I need you to come in and get an IV. She's like, how much water are you drinking? I'm like, I'm drinking. Like, so then here I am walking in. My husband owns a freaking hydration company. And I walked into Haileigh's clinic. The hydro bitch needs an IV.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah.
It's really important. Yeah. It's just, like I said, like during this time of our lives, the things that we used to be able to get away with, we just can't get away with anymore. We require a little bit more TLC, and it's totally fine. Like, it's easy to get in the routine of taking care of your body. But it is a shift for those people that have never had to do anything different, and then they start to go through perimenopause, and I'm like, okay, you have to rub this estrogen cream on your vagina. I need you to drink at least 80 to 100 ounces of water a day, and take your progesterone at night. And they're like, oh, it's just so hard to get in the routine. But like, again, like your other guest said, like, you're doing this for your future self. Yeah. Like, this isn't going to be your new normal, but yes, we require a little bit more TLC and you can have a perfectly normal life.
So last question, and then we're going to wrap it up because we have lots of exciting things to do. Yeehaw! Mm-hmm. Okay, so what can a woman start doing today before she even sees a doctor that could help?
Yes, yep. So those vibration plates are really, really important.
Really?
Absolutely.
I have one sitting in a box.
Yep. So
why?
Lymphatic drainage, because we just feel so swollen.
So how could you be on one of those for too long?
You could. I mean, technically, your body, like, you'll start itching really bad and those types of things to get off of it. So if you do itch, though, it's like, especially only being on it for like 5 minutes, that means that your lymphatic system is severely blocked and you are inflamed. And so it's really good to like shake it out. So that's something that they can do. Make sure that they're hydrating, obviously. Fiber is so important because leaky gut starts happening when we lose our hormones, and we all have leaky gut from all the crappy zero sugar drinks that we drink. So
that was a dig.
Avoiding zero sugar, hydrating with clean products, vibration plate, stretching and weightlifting. Actually,
freaking hate stretching so bad, but it's so true.
Stretching and weightlifting is what you can do without any doctor's help.
Yeah. Okay. I got some DM questions.
Okay.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I've been telling my OBGYN for 2 years that something is wrong. Never has Haileigh heard this before. My sex drive is gone. I can't sleep. I'm gaining weight around my middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I cry at everything. Every time I go in, she says my levels are normal and sends me home. I'm 38.
Yes. So the problem with normal versus optimal, right? So most of our labs have pulled this reference range from a group of like-aged individuals. How many 45-year-olds feel good? Nobody without hormone replacement, you know what I mean? And they say, okay, if you come back in this huge range, 0 to 600, and you're at 2, you're good. See you later. Nothing's wrong. So why is it, as medical professionals, and this goes out to my medical professionals, why is it that we spend so much time having to develop our critical thinking skills and seeing big picture to have a lab tell us, yes, something's wrong, or no, something's wrong? Like, I understand, you guys, don't come at me. I get it. CBC, RBCs, kidney function, liver. I get it. Like, we got to go off those normal reference ranges. But hormones, you cannot put individuals in this box together. Like, that doesn't differentiate. Like, say this lady that, wrote us said she doesn't have a thyroid. Okay, well, I do. We share the same reference range. Why is that? Why? So that is a problem, and a very common thing is normal is not optimal. But that tells you right then and there, especially if you're a practitioner, whoever you go to see, isn't willing to at least try. Say, well, God, you've got a lot of symptoms of progesterone deficiency, but your progesterone came back at 8. Should be 10 all the time, but came back at 8. You're in a normal range. Why not? Try it out. It's not going to hurt them. Like, good God, give it to them. They're going to feel better. But that's why that happens a lot, is they're looking for the lab to fly off the page with these highs and lows and markers, and it's not going to happen.
Dude, my lab said I had blood cancer.
It didn't.
It did not.
It did not say that. She was, for those medical professionals, she was just dehydrated. So her RBCs,
well, I look at it. I got the email and I looked at it and I she is my best friend, but I also like to be respectful about professional conversations about hormones and stuff, and try to
doesn't abuse that.
I don't abuse it. And if you try to come to me to abuse it through me, I'm gonna tell you to fuck yourself.
Oh yeah, she's my gatekeeper. You're not getting to me.
You ain't getting her phone number. You ain't getting her email. Nope. Sorry, but you're her best friend. Zero fucks. There is a reason she loves me.
Yeah,
I keep it.
So what she's saying with this is she looks at her labs and decides to probably Google it out.
I did. And what this high whatever meant, and I was like, oh my gosh.
It was an elevated hematocrit. You guys
checking my life insurance, making sure it's
by
be
0.2.
It was red. Okay.
It was red, so it was wrong. But again, she was dehydrated, so it was concentrated.
But circling back, that is why I love Haileigh, and you all should go see her. And after this, you should call in and make all the appointments and do all the things, is because she teaches you how to utilize symptoms and treats accordingly, not based off a lab, because it is one day of the month, and you may be peaked or you may be plummeting, and you need to focus on. And when we put me on estradiol, am I saying it right?
Estradiol.
She actually made me draw labs twice because she's like, you could be in a peak or a valley, and I want to make sure that it's actually a problem before we start.
We had 2 valleys. We had 2 low ranges of where she shouldn't be, but then her symptoms, knowing Cass and knowing how sharp she is, I saw. And then the other thing of being her best friend is her anxiety was through the roof. And I'm like, okay, Cass, I was having to talk her down a little bit more than I normally would have. And I was like, okay, that's a symptom, but I wasn't going to say anything, right? I'm like, I just see it. And then this brain fog. And then she also says, I'm not sleeping.
No, I was not sleeping.
She was not sleeping. And I was like, okay, she's stressed. I get it, but she should be sleeping with the amount of progesterone I have her on. So anyway, that's when we initiated the estradiol. And it's like, oh, welcome back.
Weird. I drank water and I got hydrated too. And I was
now all of a sudden she's back to normal.
So odd.
So yeah, if we do, the one complaint we do get with my clinic is that we do see you quite a bit. We're really focusing. You hear from me. My office calls you. I send you forms to fill out because I want to know. I want to know how your symptoms are, because that blood work for that one day out of that whole month doesn't tell me everything. I need to know how you're feeling.
Well, and I just feel like there's just a lot of people out there that are just out there to just treat this like a cash grab, and they're just prescribing people and never talk to them again.
How
many times do you have people that you're like, who are you? Oh, I don't know his name.
Oh yeah.
No. What?
No, and I'm like, when's the last time you saw him? Oh, well, they changed my thyroid 2 years ago. I'm like, what? I'm like, you're a 38-year-old female going through, it sounds like you're going through perimenopause. We're going to draw blood just to see what your baseline levels are. And again, the thyroid is the mainstay for metabolism. So it's trying to make up for all these losses. And I'm like, you didn't see this person for 2 years? But you ask my patients, they know my name. They know Angelina's name. They know Chelsea's name. They know their NP's names because we see them a lot. If we don't see them, we're calling. We're sending them emails. I need to know. We need to know.
How are you feeling?
Yeah.
All the things.
Everybody's different.
All right, guys. That's what we're going to talk about today. And you got a little extra too, a little extra spice, a little extra sass. I love Haileigh as always, per usual. Her brain is just the funnest. I could just pick it all the time. Sometimes I overpick it.
It's okay.
And I'm like, can I eat this?
Well,
what if I ate that?
Again,
why do I feel like garbage? And she's like, well, you ate garbage for 4 days and drank too much alcohol.
Knowledge is power. You got it. The more knowledge you know, the more powerful you feel, empowered in your own body.
So tell people again where they can find you.
So again, Mason Aesthetics and Wellness. We're located in West Haven, Utah. You can Google us, you can Instagram us, whatever works that way. Or you can call us 801-821-4600. We do telehealth. We do all sorts of really fun things. Hormones are my main thing. I love my hormones, but we do some aesthetics. We have the vaginal rejuvenation device, all the fun things as well. But even if you're, all my girls are highly trained in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy too. So even if you just don't know if it's right for you or if what you're experiencing might be hormone related, you can call. My front desk knows the answers. They know because I require them to.
Yeah. So well, and I think a lot of people listen to this and they're like, well, I don't live in Utah. And I was like, no, she has patients
everywhere. Patient in Kenya, for crying out loud.
That is so insane to me.
I know. I've got one in Kenya that actually lives there. She's not on her mission or anything like that, but I've got a bunch of little missionaries everywhere as well. And yeah, just it's just because hormones, like, again, I am excited that a lot of more people are practicing them, but you can really mess somebody up if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you gotta vet your hormone providers, please.
Yes. Okay. Until next time, guys. Thank you, and we're out. Bye.
Bye.